Good morning. Today it's March 31st, 2020, Tuesday. For today, I will discuss the meaning of the vocabulary words, and then you will read the article Submarine Basics, and then we will discuss the questions for the reading, okay? So this one is a little bit different because it talks about how a submarine floats, okay? So it's not your usual story where you can answer the who, what, where, when. A lot of this reading is answering the how. Okay, so let's look at the vocabulary words for today. I want us to say the words first, then I will show the pictures for the words and then explain their meanings. Okay, so let's start with the first word, buoyant. Buoyant. Can you say that word? Say it one more time, please. Excellent. Next one, stable. Stable. Say that one more time. Repeat it again. Good job. The third word is dense. Dense. Say that one more time. Please repeat it again. Awesome. Next one is pump water. Pump water. Say that one more time. Repeat it again. Awesome. The next word is steady. Steady. Repeat it one more time. Say it again, please. Good job. The next word is neutral. Neutral. Say it one more time. Repeat it again. Awesome. The next one is propeller. Propeller. Say it one more time. Say it again. Very good. Okay, the next word is spin. Spin. Say it one more time. Say it again. Good job. And the last one is murky water. Murky water. Say that one more time. Repeat it, please. Good job. Okay, so let me show you pictures, okay? So, well, our topic is about submarine. So this is how a submarine would look like. I'm going to show you a video that would talk about how a submarine goes up and down. So let's watch that video quickly.
They can reach depths of about 800 feet, thanks to a system of internal and external ballast tanks.
We have 5 external ballast tanks that are normally filled with air when I'm riding on the surface. When it is time for us to dive, we'll open vents on those ballast tanks. There's grates on the bottom of the ship that allow water to come in, displace the air, making the ship just slightly negatively buoyant. We then proceed down to the depth that we want to go to. And we use internal ballast tanks to make the ship neutrally buoyant, that then we can progress on our way whatever depth we choose.
The crew on board the Virginia class have an abundance of cutting-edge controls at their fingertips, one of which is replacing the most iconic feature in submarine history. The periscope has been a key component on the submarine for over 100 years, but engineers on the Virginia class are taking a bold step toward the future by replacing the periscope with a state-of-the-art photonic mast.
The photonic system is a mast with a sophisticated camera system that allows what would normally be displayed just in a periscope to be displayed on widescreen monitors throughout the ship.
And it used to have a optical periscope that came down, which drove the construction of the submarine and the orientation of all of the rooms on the submarine.
Bulky periscopes force most submarine control rooms to be located on a cramped upper deck. On the Virginia class, the compact imaging equipment is housed in a part of the submarine known as the sail. This allows the sub's control room to be built on the wider second deck.
My control room that I'm standing in right now houses all of the important decision makers. It really brings the crew together to operate as a team, as a unit.
today, your information is more exposed than ever.
Okay, so let's stop there. You saw how a submarine was moving. They keep on talking about this word buoyant, okay? What does that mean, buoyant or buoyancy? Basically, if something is buoyant, it flows or it goes up. If it's not buoyant, once again, if it's not buoyant, it would sink or go down, okay? So buoyant, remember, it goes up or floats in the water, okay? There were the word dense over here, dense. Dense would just mean something that's heavy. You know, something that is dense would sink in the water, okay? And then something that's light would float. So if something is light, it would float. Like plastic bottles, they float in the water, okay? They're on top of the water. Stable. So this is not stable. Something that is not stable is going to fall. Once again, something that is not stable, it's going to fall. A tree is basically stable because even if there's rain, wind, it doesn't really like fall unless it's something extreme, right? So extreme would be like earthquake or tornado. Yeah, it won't like stay, but you know, for the most part, a tree is stable. It doesn't move even though it's like really windy or there are strong winds, okay? The other thing is a propeller. This is a propeller. You can find it in submarines and airplanes. So propellers, they move, they spin. Spin is just going like this. That's like spinning, okay? The other word is murky water. Murky water is just not clear. So this is a murky water. Also, when you start going underwater, it's murky like this. It's not clear because you don't get a lot of sun. Okay, not a lot of light there. It's not very clear. That's why it's murky. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to okay, one more word that I'm missing is steady. Steady means it's not fast or slow. If we're talking about steady speed, it's not fast or slow. Pump is when the water goes in something. So usual pump that you guys would see, because like people pump water, right? So this is the usual pump that you would see, okay? This is an example of a pump. Another one I'm talking about is a well. Well, pump. Well is where people get water. Here, these are different examples of pump. So, this is the pump that you may know, okay? But there are different examples of pump. So, for a submarine, it has a pump inside because water has to go in, okay? To help it become dense so that it would sink. So, let's start reading the article about submarine basics. Basically, it's telling you how submarines move. Okay, so let's read it together. Submarines are boats that are designed to operate and travel underwater. So this sentence is basically telling you that submarines, they go underwater. Okay. Because they are full of air like a balloon, submarines do not sink. Okay, so my question is, why do submarines not sink? So if you said it's because it's full of air, you are correct. It doesn't sink because it's full of air, okay? The air makes them less dense than the water around them. So the air makes the submarine not heavy. Remember, light objects float, heavy things sink. So the air makes it less heavy. That's why the submarine can float. Many kinds of boats use ballast. What does this word mean, ballast? Ballast means any material that adds weight to make the boat more stable. It basically means that it makes the boat heavy or the submarine heavy so that it is, remember, stable. When we're talking about speed, it's not slow or fast. If you're talking about a stable weight, the weight doesn't go up and down. So for example, if your weight is unstable, let's say like you weigh 150 pounds today, tomorrow you would be 180 pounds, the third day you would be 125 pounds. That's unstable. But stable is like having the same weight. So the ballast makes it sure that the submarine is stable or has the same weight. Okay. Let's go on to the next reading. The second paragraph, I mean. In order to store the water it takes in, a submarine has large ballast tanks. So when you saw in the video, they showed you guys the ballast tanks, which can hold different amounts of water. So in the submarine, where does the water go? The water would go in the ballast tanks, okay? To make the submarine dive or go underwater, special operations pump water into the ballast tanks. Once the controllers have pumped enough water, the submarine can begin its journey into the ocean depths. So once there's enough water, that's the only time it can start moving. The speed at which the submarine dive is partially controlled by how quickly the ballast tanks take in water. Okay, so how fast does the submarine go? It depends how fast it not how much, but how fast it takes in water. So if it can take in a lot of water, then it can move fast. If it can take in a lot of water. If it takes in water really slowly, then the submarine would move slowly. Okay, when the submarine is underwater, operators maintain a steady depth by pumping some air back into the ballast tanks. In this state, known as neutral buoyancy, neutral means it does not float or it does not sink. That's neutral. A submarine can travel around without rising or falling. So rise is float, fall is sink. Okay? In order to move through water, the submarine has propellers. So how does the submarine move? It has propellers. This one that helps it move. The propellers are curved in such a way that they push water forward or backward depending on which way the propellers are spinning. The faster the propellers spin, the faster the submarine will travel. Navigators use special equipment that helps pilots steer or move submarines safely in dark or murky waters. To return the submarine to the surface, air is pumped into the ballast tanks, which push all of the water out. As the amount of ballast in the submarine decreases, the craft once again becomes less dense and begins to rise. So basically, the last paragraph is telling you, how submarines sink or go down. How can you make it go up or float? Basically, you push the water out. Pushing the water out means you're taking it out or removing it from the submarine. Only when there's no water inside the submarine can the submarine float or go up. Okay, so in the next video, actually, I think I can say all the questions. I have a minute left to read all the questions. So question number 1, what is the text mainly about? It's basically telling or asking you what is the main idea. Number 2, when and why does a submarine take on ballast? So go back to the reading to find that. And the last one is, how does a submarine achieve neutral buoyancy? Remember, neutral buoyancy means that it doesn't float or sink. That's neutral buoyancy. Okay, so these questions I need by 5 p.m. and make sure that you send me the answers on Instagram. Until tomorrow, guys, I will talk to you then. Bye.